on the 7th meeting of the Open Space Committee. And the first item on the agenda this evening is reorganization, since this is our first meeting since July 1st, since it's our fiscal year. So I'm going to turn proceedings over to the planner.
Thank you. Are there any nominations for chairman of the Open Space Committee?
I nominate Ian Weston.
Second.
So a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please vote. Ms. Weston?
So are there any motions for vice chair?
I nominate Louise.
Second.
Are there any other, I will close nominations on this, but all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Congratulations, Louise. Now, you had secretary on there. I don't think we had a secretary before, did we?
We did not.
You said chair and vice chair.
That's correct.
I'm kind of doing secretary. Okay. All right, we'll just proceed. All right, so thank you, everyone. So I officially call the meeting to order. I have 7:07 p.m. We are being broadcast live and we will be recorded. So I need to know if anyone else is making a recording of this meeting tonight. Thank you. All right, so first item on the agenda, actually, we have the minutes first. I did the minutes from the last meeting on June 5th. I just passed them on to you tonight. I apologize. I have not watched that meeting from March yet. All the other minutes, I didn't do anything for July 10th because we canceled it. Yeah. Is that all right?
I think we had it later in the
We didn't have a meeting in July. We just skipped it.
Oh, that was
June 5th was the last one. So I didn't, so June 5th, and I still owe you March. So anyways, June 5th.
If I may, Ms. Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just spelling this out.
Oh, I did?
I can correct that.
Okay, thank you. I apologize.
It's okay. Happens all the time.
That's not right. I do apologize. So what is the proper way?
AUBU CHONT.
Okay, that's right. But I was consistent. I misspelled them all the way through.
Did anybody cite South Old Road as should be corrected?
Yes,
So that
I'll
was-
provide them. That's
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You know how I feel about doing minutes.
No, so you're more efficient than I am, so.
I did them last night. Last minute of the week.
I make a motion to accept these minutes from June 5th, 2017 with the noted corrections.
Awesome. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. Okay, so on to staff updates. Boards and commission updates, vacancies now. Did you want to address that?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
There are still vacancies in several other committees in town. I encourage folks that are watching Open Space this evening to apply with the town manager's office. There's openings with the Energy Committee. There's an associate member on the Planning Board. I believe there's some openings with the Conservation Commission still. There's openings on the Economic Development Committee, as well as some other town committees that I'm not servicing at this time, but please apply within if you're interested in serving your community.
Okay. And you have down grant updates.
Yes. We're going to go into a presentation on one of those grant updates a little later today.
Okay. All right, then, the next thing I think is our presentation from the internship from the summer. So, are you prepared for that?
Yeah, if I may.
Yeah.
So, Connor has done an extensive amount of research under the goals that were set forth from the Open Space Committee. We had a draft presentation ready. It's not complete. There's some items that still need to be reviewed by other town departments prior to them becoming a public recommendation for that matter.
Yeah.
And a lot of town departments are extremely busy over the summer and just didn't get an opportunity to share our findings with them and to see if they share some of our ideas and if any of those ideas are suitable or at least in unison with the town departments. So we still have some work to do, but it doesn't negate or gloss over any of the hard work that Connor's done and some of the research he's done, which I'd like for him to at least be able to explain the depth of the research that's gone into his study. And we're certainly hopeful to continue once the internship is concluded this summer. And I think he's given us a great deal of information to get started on a very worthwhile project.
That's great to hear. I think we're all anxious to hear what you have to share with us. So, please, by all means, go ahead.
Just some stuff that
Okay. So my research began by looking at some of these items listed: the 2014 Open Space and Recreation Plan, Inventory of Conservation and Recreation Land, 2006 Master Plan, Open Space Committee Draft Data Tables and Neighborhood Maps, Auburn GIS Mapping Software, Assessor's Field Guide Cards, and online parcel data, and Auburn Zoning Bylaws, Section 5.4 Dimensional Regulations.
So we put him to the books first.
I guess so.
And he went through a lot of this information.
You went through all of that?
Yeah. After going through that, the following criteria were used to narrow down the inventory of conservation and recreation land: non-conforming parcels containing less than 10,000 square feet of land area, landlocked parcels with no direct access to public or private road, parcels with considerably steep terrain such as Granger Cliffs, parcels containing known wetlands, parcels containing stormwater management basins that service neighborhoods, and parcels containing easements for overhead power lines were eliminated from contention for possible recreational use.
What happened is once you're able to narrow these down, and we did a lot of this with the data tables too as we went through these, but we really got a chance to dive into these parcels specifically, even when it came down to deed research, town meeting research, find out how the properties were acquired, and some of the information that we found is information we didn't have at first, and it's real helpful to come up with some of the parcels we did. And we have some narrowed down. I think it's a list of about 179 parcels, about 5. It's just there's when it comes to making recommendations on these parcels, it's very important that we review those recommendations with town departments before we disclose them to the public or to the committee. So it's we don't want to make a recommendation on something before a different department was in, and it's just it wouldn't be sensible in that regard. So the other piece of the research that was asked was to look into conservation agent. Connor spent such a great deal amount of time on this. In addition to another project we're going to go over shortly, that there was just no time to do that and the time that we had together. So while we did begin looking at some of that information, it's just some other projects took over. And I keep saying we'll get into it, but it's kind of the Pappas hiking trail project that's come to the grand conclusion this month. So we did some field research there. And we also met with an interesting group out there.
Yes, Green Light Disc Golf.
Okay.
Yep. Was it 3 representatives came out?
There was 2 enthusiasts and a co-owner of Green Light Disc Golf who does design engineering for disc golf. And they were pretty happy with themselves.
Yep. We walked most of the parcel was, but we got to a point where you could just see the expansiveness, and they kind of got the idea of what they were going to work with, and it was a big enough parcel that they think they could do something with it.
So what we're asking of them is to provide us with a
Proposal?
what it would cost to construct one of these. Said they'll be going out there at some point to do some testing, but just like John and Louise and I noticed in our sidewalk back last October was it's a lot bigger in person than it is on paper.
Oh, yeah.
And they noticed that as well. And not only were they thinking 18 holes, but can you do more there? It seems to be real happy. And most one of the things I said was most of the time you have a lot more clearing to do. You have undergrowth and tree removal. And it's so open up there. There's design where there's not going to have to be a lot of. And again, this isn't a concept. This isn't something that's something the town's considering at this time. It's just the
Good
ideas
idea.
come up at town meeting. It's come up here and there, and we figured why not a curiosity? See if this is something that's even worth examining in any capacity.
Right.
We know it's non-taxable bonds on the property. There's not much we can do there while it's still being paid for. So just having it looked at was a positive step. And again, I can't say this enough. It's not something we're saying, here's what's going to happen there.
Right.
It's just an option that's been brought up by so many different people at so many different times that it's worth getting past that. So,
Well, it never hurts to get information.
yep.
Now you have something more concrete.
So,
Do you know if they've done any of these in this area?
oh, jeez. I forget which one they told us. They've done a couple. I don't play disc golf.
Me either.
I do not. And when they brought up these sites, I didn't know what they were. they have names like Red Tail or something like that. I don't know
yeah.
what it was, but I know that some of their enthusiasts tend to use the one in Buffinville Dam a little bit
Oh,
because that's the Army Corps of Engineers site up in
Yep.
Charlton, Oxford area, and they don't charge people to play there. Which I don't know if that'd be the case with Auburn or not, but it's a good use of land that's being used for nothing else other than control of water.
yep. Okay, so you're really not ready to give us anything concrete on Connor's findings right now?
Unfortunately, not today. But great information that's been provided through his research, and it's something that I want to make sure that the town is not going to shelf and is going to keep pursuing, because it's part of the open space plan.
Right.
It's also part of the open space chapter master plan, and these are things, implementation strategies that I don't want the town to go silent on, and I feel very confident that we'll take this information and move forward.
So do you have more information to give us tonight? Or,
Do.
Okay.
It is on the hiking trail. So we'll segue back to our grant closeout, if you will. So, as you well know, we've had a grant from the Blackstone Heritage Corridor since 2015. We've been working on designing the trail, getting it surveyed, getting the wetlands delineated over a long period of time, and once that was finished this past March, we got an extension on the grant until August 31st to have it constructed, signed, and ready to go. So DPW began construction on this in June. In a couple days, maybe even a week after they started, we were pretty excited to get down there.
Yep.
So we got a chance to take some good photos and create this slideshow for ideas of how to create signage and mark the trails. And we wanted to share this with you for any ideas that you may have based on some of the things that we found. So, trade off or just kind of look at things as we go. But Connor helped with this image and kind of imposing this sign. What this is, it's one of those, it's a large structure sign. It's probably 7 to 8 feet tall. It's got 2 posts with a board, two-sided board that's got plexiglass on each side, and it's got a roof over the top of it so it doesn't get hindered by weather events. And this where you can put your map information about, bee stings, ticks, or anything that people need to know as a safety precaution on there. History or Blackstone Heritage Corridor information, any information that people need to know about what's on the trail and what they can expect. And this is at Pappas Rat Complex. And we think that the trail entrance makes sense. There's a little access road next to the concession stand. It's call it the restrooms. Because it's not like it's a 24-hour concession stand. It's more like the restrooms. And to the right of that parking lot, there's a little access road. which leads towards the large baseball field, and then in between the baseball field and the soccer field is a little footpath, a paved footpath with a bridge, and that would be the entrance of this trail. So when thinking of signs, I chose this one because it was natural.
Yep. Smaller, fit in with the wilderness, wasn't too outstanding. And you can also see some blue and white striping of the trees that we're going to go over a little bit later. That's just paint rings, kind of just show you the general direction of the trail so you don't wander off any of the directions that you're not supposed to.
And this trail system, I don't know if any of us had been up there. I think I walked it with conservation, with Mike and Mike Garland, and I think it was Chuck Olson at the time, when we were going for our NOSIP 10. But on occasion, there's more than one trail.
Yes. So sometimes we would need signs such as this to point which direction, if there's no trees around, to signify which direction you should be going in. Two signed posts would be helpful to show you which direction you should be going in and which one you should not be going in.
On a photo like this, you can see how the trail goes straight, but that's not the actual trail. It's one of the pre-existing trails that isn't going to be maintained. Right now, it still looks like a walkable trail. So signing this is really important to make sure that people aren't using the wrong trail. They don't get lost on the map.
Is that what the white trails markers on the overhead view? Is that what those are? Those are not the trail, but
Yes.
trails that are there?
Yes.
And,
Those won't be on the final design.
okay, but they're existing?
Yes.
And why are they still visible? I mean, there hasn't been, is it because of off-road vehicles and stuff, or?
Regular use. People
Do go up there.
People go up there
Okay,
a lot, walk
good.
their dogs. I hate to say this, but some people in the past, I don't even know if it's before the town owned it or not, maybe hunting up there, that shouldn't be, but people definitely walk up there. I know some folks who walk their dogs up there. And, there's worn dirt paths that are not going to grow vegetation unless they're not used.
Okay,
And you can see them from satellite imagery too.
okay, so, yeah.
So here's an example. At this particular junction, there's a four-way.
Yep.
And we needed an arrow sign that makes sure you're on the right trail. Not only that, but it needed more than that, and what we're calling tree banding. So I saw this in Southbridge at Westfield Camp. They have tree, and other trails are real easy to tell which one is the trail, but they have tree banding where it's red and white for the pioneers in their colors. And I thought blue and white might be appropriate for rock. And the Boy Scout trail, the blue marker trail. Don't forget the band might be more identifiable to our path. There was also a route. We're going to put an arrow.
Yes.
So some features might be easier to mark than creating a sign. We try to do that as we can.
Did you ever take a tour up the Worcester Science up on Massasoit Road there?
Oh, the Mass Audubon Trust.
Yeah,
Yes,
they have a rope system, a great
They do.
system up there.
Yeah, the rope and railing systems.
Yeah,
Yep,
has little round things, tells you what's near.
that's right. Yeah, there's several identifiable markers along their trails too, including like information signs. Some of them are just like a 3-foot tall sign with a diagonal surface on it, and
Yeah.
"You are here" map with a star on it.
I think
So there's some
I
ideas
like
like
that.
that too.
I like that idea.
you can also use your cell phone, you can also use a smartphone up there too.
Yeah, we've discussed that with MIS. I don't know if that's something we can do yet, because creating an app with a map on it is difficult. You can use your own GPS, but you still know the ways. It's going to be a little tough. Mass Audubon's probably gone far and beyond what we've done.
Yeah.
As far they probably have an app for it with a map.
You know, it might be worth checking with the school system, because I know the students at Swanson Road, this is grade 3 to 5, came up with an app this past year related to the Arboretum.
Nice.
So there may be some resources in town
Sure.
that can, and it, you know, if they're doing it, then something's happened at the middle school and something's happened at the high school. So that would be a great project for somebody or a group of people to get in on.
Oh, and this being just the identification and structure of one trail, this entire network has expansion written all over it. There's other opportunities we can explore here by marking other trails, increasing the size of the network, and when this grant was approved, there was the opportunity to extend this through the Blackstone River Bikeway at some point on Route 20. It's not part of this yet. It's definitely something the town can pursue in the future. So all we're trying to do now is just that one trail. A great point though, Mr. Anderson, is I did ask the same question. I go, GPS and an app would be wonderful for this. The restriction we have is the town's template website, and whatever that company website is that we have, there's only so much we can do with it. And from what I understand, MIS tried to make our website into an app, so it's a little easier to use. Apple or just wasn't going to have it. You have a website, you don't need an app. So getting a division out of that is something I'm sure we can look into, but it's from what I understand, challenging with the website that we have.
It's pretty old.
Yes. It's just like a blueprint that several towns use. And most towns have been through.
Virtual town hall.
Here's another piece of tree banding. This was after the this is a little challenging.
Yes. So once you get through the cornfield, you kind of just go into what this image is showing. This is just trees everywhere. Not really sure which way to go. You kind of see this path that veers to the right, but our network is going to the left, so that's why the tree bands are going more to the left direction. And that image on the bottom left is just kind of showing you what, it's kind of more of a close-up, straight-on shot of what they would look like on a tree.
And this has some grade. This is where it starts to go. No pun. Downhill. It's long story short, this trail is downhill the entire way to the end and uphill all the way back.
Yeah.
What's next on the wait for you?
Yeah, it's going to be
The
exercise.
vehicle.
It's approximately 4,600 feet, which is 7/8 of a mile long in one direction, 7/8 back.
Have you done anything with the diversion tunnel? Wasn't there a big drop there?
We can't get close to it because it's state property, so we
Okay.
have to circumnavigate it,
Have
unfortunately.
you put some protections up there? or
There's a
something?
fence surrounding the state property. So this map kind of shows the general idea. So where we want these signs to be located. Back up here near the Baptist complex is the entrance sign, and then the small wooden signs throughout. This is where the grade that Connor mentioned would really drop off for the fence at the reversion channel, and the tree banding is critical here so people know where they're going. There's also a footbridge. I don't think I have pictures on this slideshow. No, I don't think it is. But DPW had to construct a footbridge as part of their notice of intent, and that's about 25 feet long. It is built, it is installed. It looks very nice. There's also a real soggy area here that they did some work on.
They added some stepping stones to make it easier to, stepping through lush water.
And they're flat,
Yep.
shale, or slate, whatever it is.
Looks very
They're
nice.
really neat. It gives you a real good experience while you're in that particular section. But eventually it rounds out into the South Elk Road parcel as it goes through that 12-foot pitch point of private property. And this is where, obviously, the South Elk Road land is very open. DPW has been maintaining twice a year, but there will be some further maintenance along the perimeter here. And you'll see something I pointed out on there was bat boxes. If you've been to a selectman meeting within the last couple of months, understand a Boy Scout was installing these
Yeah,
things
bat box.
on the trail when we were up there.
Yep.
What do they look like?
There's large posts with black rectangles on the top. Very flat boxes on top, but we show those.
Yes. Yeah. So we identified it as kind of one of the challenges because I think this trail path was laid out long before these locations were assigned for bat boxes. However, this isn't something that should be a detriment or an impact on the people around, so long as kids aren't throwing rocks in these things. So we thought it would be important just to identify what they are while you're out there and to not disturb them. I'm not saying put a Batman symbol on it, but it's
And how long is
Just-
this going to
just
stay
a-
up there? How long is it going to stay up there, forever or what?
I don't know the terms of the it's a Boy Scout,
Okay.
Eagle Scout
Eagle
program,
Scout,
excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, they're permanent once they
So I
run.
thought, yeah.
I mean, because it's going to take time for the bats to find them and to use them as homes, so But once they're there, hopefully, that should really cut down on the bugs.
That's the idea too, and
Yeah.
it would, help trail goers as well. So, one of the other pieces, and Mark alluded to this, is the access to the state property. And there is a point where the fence is open. And clearly marking that as not the trail or state property and to not trespass on it would be very important.
I think the appropriate word is danger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that, I mean,
It's a drop.
It's huge.
it's,
70
yeah.
feet, yeah.
And there's
Water
times,
running.
and there's times where the water running through there looks like the Rio Grande. Yeah. Could I say one thing on your tree marking? And you don't have to go reference back, but where you're looking at two bands, blue and white, the white is a great place to add an arrow if need be. If you're trying to, I don't know what the budget is or how these things get done, but if banding too many trees gets to be a problem, then maybe just give some directionality to those bands and keep it simple.
The path itself is, to me, kind of easy to navigate. The biggest challenge is the cornfield, at least right now.
Yeah.
As that path gets used, it will over time become its own path. But to create it, it was already being cultivated. So there's still probably seeds of corn under it we're going to try to grow. So that's going to be the hardest part, at least this summer. Just we wanted to limit the impact on it. I understand it's our property, but the folks are certainly paying to be able to cultivate their crops there, and we want to be respectful of that. So trying to keep it on the edge of the cornfield as much as we can, and but identifying it perfectly right now, this summer, is going to be the most challenging. So we might need a couple more signs along that area to mark it clearly. But here are some other challenges up here, and so this is where you get to Southwell Road, parking and accessing the site. That's an option.
Yep, so the image on the left was kind of where we had the idea of parking originally before the development started and a curb was placed there. So there's potential for parking there still, or not at all at this point. It's up in the air.
Well, we don't want to encourage folks from parking up here right now, just because there's a curb. It was just built. It is a private road at that section, so it's not like we could promote folks from going up over the curb and destroying someone's new curb. And it's not a designated parking area. It's technically still within the right of way on that upper landing right at the corner. So it's not technically town property. There isn't realistic parking there. There is I'm going to call it former subdivision road, because that's, I guess, what it was in order to access it. And judging by the picture, and I'm sure you can tell us a little more.
Yeah, the first time, is this from the first time we visited?
Yeah.
So this picture is from the first time we visited this site, and as you can see, it's pretty washed out. And the second time we went, it was actually a lot worse than what this picture shows. So going forward, that's definitely going to be a huge issue with the washout and stuff that's coming from that construction. Just the drainage basins weren't doing their jobs.
It was
Very
right
well.
after that 3 inches in 7 hours we had, and we saw it the next day. It was so, and we informed DPW about this, and Bill saw this and knows it's a challenge. Again, I can't say this enough. We don't want to encourage folks to take this road to park and use this trail. We want folks to go up to Pappas Rec Complex, park there, and use the trail from the beginning. It's just we identify this as a challenge because we could see people trying to use it, and we don't want to encourage that. So that's one.
This is the road that's across from those new houses?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's very dangerous, and
It's pretty steep, too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you have a truck or a Jeep, I believe the police, the fire department, I can't remember who, told us that they had to pull a vehicle out of there recently. And it's, people are going to be,
Yes.
people will do things, you never know. And we don't want to promote that. So this is a challenge for a reason. We don't want folks going there to use this to access the trails. 2 other challenges. You want to talk about the one on the left?
Yeah, so the one on the left, you kind of see that hairy vine on that tree. It's actually poison ivy vine.
Ooh.
Very thick, and they were through a good point of that steep part of the network, and definitely don't want to be touching those.
They're larger there than I've seen in most woods. They've just never been contained before. I mean, it looks like Jurassic Park in the sense that it's a giant, thick vine, okay? Now, that's one tree, but there's got to be 15, 20 trees caked in this stuff. Now, the trail, you can see on the photo on the left, goes right in between those two trees, but anyone who wants to stop and take a break, put their hand on that, it's kind of dangerous. So, we're identifying these as part of the entrance sign, so people can steer clear of that. And then any steps for if you get poison ivy, you get in contact with it, here's your community. As much safety as we can promote within that entrance sign and on the trail map as well,
Yeah.
on the reverse side.
I think you got to put a sign out right in front of that, because most people are not, if they can identify poison ivy at all, they're not familiar with vines.
Right.
I mean, they're out there, but they're really not that common. Most of it doesn't grow that long. So my recommendation is we get a couple goats. There we go.
Right.
They love poison ivy.
Yes, and they'd be fine on the steepness of the
Yeah.
terrain. There you go. Poison ivy goats. This is delicious.
Town employees.
What's that?
So this kind of goes right into the next photo, which is the 12-foot wide property pitch point right now above. So there's no clear fence on both sides. You have the state fence for the diversion channel on one, but there's no fence on the other for the private property that applies to it. So clear markings, no trespassing private property, or even a rope to rope off something. It still needs to be discussed by DPW. Maybe it's just signage, but it needs to be identified. The trail doesn't cause you to veer off in any odd direction. The trail seems pretty solid where folks would make this mistake, but wherein someone was pulled out of the area with a Jeep, people will do things, explore, and you never know, and we don't want that to become a burden with the private property owners next to this thing. So identifying that is very important as well. The other piece is making sure we incorporate the Blackstone Heritage Corridor logo. So tough logo to etch into a sign. This isn't necessarily a challenge, it's just something we have to be sure that we do. Whether it's in identifying it by the trail's name, which is still undetermined, it's probably just going to be Jack Trail until something comes on down the line. But the logo isn't something you can like burn into a wood sign. It's kind of tough, but we just want to make sure we're identifying it in any way that we can, because we are very grateful for the grant that they gave us, and being part of the Blackstone Heritage Corridor is something we're very proud of. And we're kind of at the top entrance, seemingly, other than Worcester, of the Blackstone Heritage Corridor, and we want to represent that with pride. So that was another big piece of that. But we've been out there once to do the sign and the photos. Then we put our markers on the map where you see previously, so that we could identify the sign locations. I'm not going to say it was, well, I'll say, in my opinion, I thought we actually had a lot of fun with this. Just using the maps and recreating the photos in the slideshow to make this presentation anyway. So, and circling back to our original presentation for this evening, is that you can see that a lot of work went into this also. It's timely because of the grant closeout being August 31st. Right now, DPW is in the process of making the signs. We're expecting those to be done within the next couple of weeks. And then on August 31st, the day that the grant closes out, we're going to be hosting what's called a Blackstone Heritage Corridor Go program. This is being advertised as kind of the grand opening of this trail. It gives outdoors folks and passive rec folks an opportunity to visit this with a guide. I assume it's going to be me. However, I have spoken with former 7th grade, we'll call it blue team science teacher and ornithologist, Mr. Mark Blazes, to potentially accompany me on this site. Reason being is because he has done field guides with his students over the years for 20 years. And he gave me these field guides. Now I've scanned them onto the server and they're going to be on the website as part of this trail. So the students' work on those field guides was actually done on the post property. Butterflies,
Yeah, birds.
birds, a lot of these things, the field research was done there with the permission of the Post family before the town took over ownership. So it's nice to tie that back in and have that information available for people. The field guides have illustrations from children
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe
They're
how
remarkable.
good they
Beautiful.
are. And information on species. My class did ferns, and we did them
You
there. Yeah, everyone else got animals, we got plants. But
You have
I learned so much
cinnamon
about
fern,
those things. Oh,
sensitive
yeah.
fern.
Oh yeah, and so identifying those in an area like this is terrific because some ferns will tell you right away if you're in wet.
Absolutely.
And seeing a sensitive fern right out the gate, you'll know that you're in a soft area and you better be wearing boots. So a lot of, I think, good pieces are going to be advertised on the website as part of this, and I'm really excited for it to be finished. And Connor was a great help in putting this together, just for the signs, being out there to see the trail and make some good ideas about the signs that we're trying to use.
That's
So
great.
I can't say it enough. I'm really happy he was volunteering his time to do this internship because it's an unpaid internship in Westfield State. There's still no chance that it's going to be credited, right?
No, it wasn't going to apply towards anything that I needed.
Right. So it's purely
That's good practical experience.
Yes, definitely.
right. And an Auburn resident to boot.
Right.
They're doing it and trying to learn more about the town too. So I can't say thank you enough for you helping us out with those projects. I'm sure the committee may feel the same way. So
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
we have to.
Thank you very much.
Now you spent a ton of time and it's great. It was good for you, it was good for us.
Yep.
It was good for you too.
yes, and there's going to be even more information coming out based on the other study he's done, and I'm happy to continue that.
We're all anxious to hear that tonight, so when do you, now what's your plan? I know Connor's going to be leaving us, so what is your plan to carry the presentation forward to the other town departments?
Aside from some minor tune-ups, grammatical things that we even know that's what we're doing our charter on, we have to get this to the town departments for their feedback. It's set, aside from grammatical changes.
How many departments do you have to go to?
Probably a few, at least DPW. I mean, when you're making recommendations about driveways and stuff, you need to check first, and you need to make sure that they're on board with this, for instance. So, police, fire, DPW, it's something that has to come into the DCG and reviewed internally for feedback. And even after that point, I want to tie in the building, anyone else who might have concerns about accessibility. It's a big thing. And when accessibility is listed in the open space plan and the master plan, it's not just, all right, let us know where we can park. It's the official engineering design of how you can create parking in that area. Not only that, political ramifications of things like that, of there being abutters nearby. And you don't want to make this a big deal if it's still just a research program. And it makes sense at the time, currently, that it's a step that we still have to take.
So are you thinking we won't see anything until spring, or what do you think?
I don't expect it to be that long. No, this is something I want to continue to pursue, and I feel bad first of all because I'm one of two people in the room who know how much research went into it, and this is Connor's last day of internship.
I know.
Yeah.
So I for
You
one.
could volunteer to come back.
You could be here tomorrow. No. So yeah, I wanted to still be able to have a summer. You understand?
No, I
Still,
understand.
Yes, yeah.
I'm only
So,
joking, but we do appreciate everything you've done though.
course.
To help bring this
That's a
forward.
lot.
Happy to do this.
You know. So, and if you do decide at some point in the future that you would like to volunteer,
Yep, of
you
course.
know, hopefully you'll come back to us.
Definitely.
Good luck with your return to school.
Thank you.
Pretty soon, right?
Yep.
Is
Soon enough.
senior year.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's a big deal.
Yep.
Wow. Onward and upward.
Of course.
You never know, you might cross paths with Matthew again. You never know.
Hopefully.
This is true.
Yeah,
Westfield was where you went to school,
That's
right?
correct.
are you gonna put a map up on the town website that people can download?
Matter of fact, I will show you a draft concept now. If you give me a couple minutes. another thing we've been working on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the sign costs and everything. I didn't know DPW could do that. Your signs, your signage.
Oh, there's, I'm glad you asked that question. Part of the budget for the survey and engineering, we didn't use all 50,000 of the grant, so there's still pieces left where we could purchase supplies.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it isn't some, the supplies themselves are still part of the funds that we're going to use. And it's the one-to-one match, but it's the hours that DPW is going to be putting into the construction and design and all this stuff that's going to offset.
Right, what do we call that?
It's a in-kind.
In-kind, thank you.
So, for the draft trail map, at least give you an idea of the progress. It's coming along.
Now, I was thinking that in a lot of places, whether it's Audubon or somewhere else, that they have a trail, in your entrance kiosk, there would be a slot with maps, and that may be something that's possible down the road, but at least up front, to have something that people could download would help them.
Right.
Because we don't need to have lots of search and rescues or anything down
No.
there.
God, hope not.
It's 19.
Nobody did anything or anything else.
So many renditions of this, I want to make sure I'm playing with the right one. Insurance map, I think this is it. July 31st. Not enough memory on the computer to do this. So that may or may not happen. If you don't mind waiting a moment, I can grab your printout that's on my desk and circulate it. Oh,
Take me forever.
you can also get other copies of the agenda that are sent.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Connor, and I hope that, when we are able to publicly view the
Yep.
rest of this stuff, if you are available on one of our meetings,
Yep.
and maybe we can even change the date so it's more likely that he
Yeah,
could
Tell
attend.
me your schedule so we can help.
That'd be awesome.
I would love to have you here, because sometimes to see the final result of your work is just a good thing.
Yeah, definitely like the experience of presenting as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And we're really, we're chomping at the bit for this, because it's a piece that we've been missing for,
A while.
since I've been on
Yeah.
this committee.
Yes.
Yep.
And we look at spaces and we try to evaluate them, and then we go, but how do you get there?
Yep.
And so it's going to be good to hear a final opinion that can help us course the direction for some of our projects.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna get that tonight, so we're all sitting here waiting for you. But- No, that would be great if you could make a
Yeah.
return visit.
I love that.
This is a good summer too to look at this because of all the water.
Yep.
I can't think of a worse summer in terms of rainfall, and to see what was affected.
Look at people's lawns, people still have green lawns, usually it's all brown.
Yeah.
So, you can see where the wetlands really are.
Last summer, just this summer,
I know, remember how little we got last year?
very little rain last summer.
It was nice having some time without a water ban.
Yes, that too. That was for months.
What's your plan after graduation?
Hopefully get a job somewhere. Not sure where, what, but not sure completely yet. Maybe back to school. Who knows?
Oh, you to be
Yep.
Copies for everybody, but
So sorry.
action for you guys. So part of the challenge is the scale.
Okay.
And in order to show the entire project, the entrance becomes very small. So the second map is not finished yet, but what I had to do is kind of recreate the Pappas complex on using GIS maps and some imagery like things that you see like the playground, the soccer field, the baseball field, things that Connor was helping me locate, and creating the trail entrance so people know exactly where it is.
A project all by itself, Matt.
Yes, that is taking a considerable amount of time. And then replicating that same thing onto the full trail map, which is I'm still working on, with showing some of the features like the cornfield we mentioned as an identifiable point on the trail. The bridge, I'm not sure if I want to use that graphic yet, but I had to chart out all the presumed rivers that are intermittent streams that are dry mostly, but sometimes wet, so I had to chart those out on here. Presumable by looking at contours. If this prints better, you can see the contour lines actually follow the rivers. That's my inner nerd talking. But the trail itself, just being able to show the land and some of the features is going to be very important. So, because it's such a large scale, we have to show the entrance separately. And that creates a challenge of how do you put this into a map. If it prints on legal paper, you get the map to fold a certain way, and then as you open it, you get to see the entrance, or you'll see the complete map. And maybe I can put the entrance map on one of the sides, just along by itself. And then people can see the full trail as they open it. And the rest of the map would have information about the rules of the trail, take the trash with you, mosquito information, being tick, and things like that, and some of the stuff Mr. Anderson already mentioned, and do not trespass, stay on the trail, things like that. So that's still under development, but you wanted to see a general idea of
That's
the
great.
map.
Very clear.
At first we had something like the aerial photo you saw on the slideshow earlier, but I didn't think that would work. I just thought something a little more, I call it cartoony, but it's
Yeah, but you know what?
a little easier.
Yeah, I think it's much more easy for people that are not skilled at area maps or, I could. Well, that's great.
What it also does, and it's important, I mentioned this, especially Mark anyways, I also charted out the footpaths that are already there, some of the paved ones that go around the soccer field.
Yeah.
There's also one that goes around the baseball
Yeah.
fields into the parking lots and stuff, so I charted those on here also, because it's important for folks that aren't ready to go hiking, that people can go walking on the
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's also icon on here for the handicap accessible parking, the restrooms. I still call it the concession stand. I know that's not the right word. I don't play baseball. I never have. I don't know what they call that thing. Snack shack. I don't know. But the playground, the hardest icon to find for this map is the pavilion.
Really, yeah. Yes.
I can't find a cartoony icon for the pavilion, but.
Hash out, maybe like it looks like,
This,
kind of.
I put a like a theater with the masks on the front of it. I didn't know what else to use. So, but I was hoping this would, I've sent it around for other town departments for feedback too. This still needs final review, but it's a general concept. It's going on.
When you're doing the sign, if it's possible to do large print with Braille,
I can certainly try. I don't know how to make it, or we'd have to
I read these
adjust
forms,
to it.
maybe paperwork you could do easily, maybe.
I'll certainly look into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And out in the trails, maybe put some emergency phone boxes out there?
On the hiking trails themselves.
Yeah, out there in the woods there.
There's no power. I don't
Nothing,
think
huh?
there's anything we can do out there with that. I know you mentioned that in the past. The only utility out there is a sewer easement. But I don't think we can do anything like that. It's from front to back. It's probably a 20-minute walk in that direction. Back's probably a little longer because you're uphill the whole way. But
Well, how's cell service supposed to be finding there?
I didn't try either.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
As long as you've got cell service, then most people got a phone. mean, I would never embark on something like that without having my phone. And if the phone wouldn't work, I don't know that I would go.
I saw some wildlife out there too.
Yeah, it was some turkeys.
I saw like a dozen.
Turkeys.
No, the grass was high and the sick down when I was going. So.
There seems to be a ton of those this year.
Quite a few in that year.
Butterflies were, this was at that time, I can't remember. There was a lot.
Yeah.
You could hear them everywhere. But
Moths.
aside from them, there were actually a lot of full-grown butterflies. And you can see why Mark Blazes did his study there. It's pretty neat. Yeah, very exciting project. And I don't mean to keep talking about it, but I'm excited for two things, for it to be built and for it to be over with. At least for now,
I
it's
know,
the grant. I want to get that closed out. So
But it's coming to fruition.
it is, and in huge part to Connor's son as well.
So John came up with an idea that we all think is a good idea for when you're ready to do the presentation. I'm hoping that maybe Connor can come back and join
Oh,
us.
that'd be wonderful. I hope he wants to.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's the last on Monday night.
We need to change our meeting night to accommodate the schedule.
I would
So we can come.
absolutely come up with that.
I love that.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right, so are you done with this part, or did you have what you wanted to add? Anything you want to add?
Just thank you for the opportunity. It's a lot of great stuff that I'll take with me going forward.
Now you know more about the town too.
Yes, it's always a good thing.
Things you didn't know before, right?
Yes, definitely.
That's good. That's good. It was well worth it, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Do you guys have any questions on them?
Not at this point. I mean, this is very well thought out. I'm pleased. Very pleased.
Very thorough.
Just do too bad you can't get any credits on the school.
I know. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a, you said you have to pay for grants.
Yeah, it was like $900 for 3 credits that wouldn't apply towards my concentration or my major, so it just wasn't worth it. Because I did an internship last semester that I applied, and I couldn't like repeat the same application of an internship, but it was definitely well worth doing it for the experience.
Well, as long as you feel as though you got something from it.
I definitely did, yes.
You know. I'm impressed, Matt. I really am. I know how busy you are and I know how many different committees you have to work with, and there's only so many hours in the day, and I think how you do it.
I couldn't have done it without ourselves.
Well, congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Great summer's work.
Nice.
All right. We had a couple more things on, on the agenda that we've been kind of carrying forward. And we've got a lot of information time to digest. If you want to just leave these items to, I'm sorry, I forgot. This is just the town-owned property review, the South Old Road recommendations, the neighborhood map review. Those are all things we've kind of.
Well, I know we put that off, but I think that this component that's forthcoming
Exactly.
is really going to drive
Where we go with
where
these
we go
things.
with this
Right.
stuff, you know?
So I think we should just keep these.
Keep them alive, and
Yeah.
when the time is right, I think some of the decisions are going to come very quickly.
Right. Well, especially when they tell us they've got to narrow it down to from 170 something to 5. So,
That doesn't necessarily make those 5 like great candidates. It's just as we dug into them, we learned things about them that make them difficult. But there's a bunch of information, and when it's ready, you'll certainly get it.
right. All right, then, so if we skip over those, then we're down to public comment. I understand that you are Connor's folks.
We are.
Welcome this
Yeah.
Thank
evening.
you.
We're very happy to have your son here. It sounds like he's really put in tremendous effort for us.
We want to thank you for the opportunity you gave him.
I was always excited when he came home.
That's good.
Well, that's great.
It's great to have them.
That's good. That's good. Well, welcome. Feel free to come back anytime.
Thank you.
All right then. So the next meeting, what do you think? What do you think of our next meeting?
Unless we have a
I know.
specific thing to do,
It's really kind of. I would kind of like to see how, we can get something wrong from you by the fall for the presentation.
We We can hold till it's prepared, if you'd like. I'm obviously pending if any requests come from any other
Right,
boards,
sure,
like select
sure.
or anything. Yeah, if you want to go with it at that rate, we can do that as well.
I just think we've done, we put a lot of effort into the reviewing of the town property, but we've been missing some of the big components, and that's why I think we've stopped. It's just not,
Right.
it's hard to make a decision when you only have 3/4 of the facts.
Right. And now we'll have a lot of more information, so it seems more efficient to do that. So, do you think like within the next, say, 60 days, that we might hear from you, be ready to make one?
I'm certainly going to try.
Okay. Okay. No pressure.
No. It's just getting everyone else involved
Yeah.
and focused. And I think there's certainly enough information for them to take interest. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, good. All right, so we'll kind of leave the meeting, we'll wait until you guys are ready unless something comes up, then we'll schedule it as we need to. So we don't have any correspondence, so I guess we're ready for a motion to adjourn. So all right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Any comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed? So voted. Thank you very much again. Excuse me.